Good morning, everybody. Okay, it's such a pleasure to be here out today, and I really thank you for all giving me the opportunity to be on this TEDx platform. So, starting with what I have to talk about, today we are going to be talking about something called from sanitary pads to launch pads. Okay, there's this song that I love the most, and it's from a movie called as Mary Poppins. Now, it goes like this. It's supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, even though the sound of it may sound quite atrocious. Now, the word supercalifragilisticexpialidocious means something, and it means superb. And superb is the exact word that God exclaimed when he marveled at his own creation that he calls so fondly as woman. Right. I'm not a woman activist, neither am I feminist, nor do I belong to the brow-burning generation. I belong to the generation where I believe we are visible, we have the power to bring out the best in us. I believe that we have the Creator who, in all His glory, built up the sun and the moon with its own special purpose to be in the journey of earth. And we are as special as everyone out here. It's amazing to know what kind of power we have in us. Today we're going to learn how to unleash a little bit of our amazingness and awesomeness that's called as women. So years back that I started my journey, a long, long time ago. Now if you need to ask, how was the journey so far? I would actually say, boy, what a ride. It has been a roller coaster ride. Every time the coaster used to go up, my heart used to actually skip a beat. And every time it used to come down, I would be like shrieking and screaming in fear. But trust me, once the ride gets over, it was like, I'm more stronger, I'm more prepared for the next ride to come. Launching ourselves into greatness is something that we're going to be doing for the rest of our life. Now, how do we do that? As we all know that every pain that we get in our lives, we are actually getting better. The more the pain, the more we are ready to be launched into greatness. Right? A woman, when she is going through her birthing pains, she's actually being readied to be launched into greatness that's been called as the mother. Right. We all have the choice to live our life either as a warning or as an example for others. Coming to understanding, I follow a lot of icons, heroes, legends. One person that's really attracted me, that's a rare air discipline about him. He's actually a visionary, and he has this longing to be a force for good in an increasingly chaotic world. I'm talking about none other than Mr. Mandela. Now, Mr. Mandela became Nelson Mandela only after he spent his years in the prison. It was in his years of confinement, when he went through devastation, when he went through humiliation, when he went through degradation, did he understand, or did he come out of the shackles that his mind was always chained into. So when he was actually appointed as the president of South Africa, in one of his ceremonies, he was actually invited all the jailers who were there with him in the Robben Islands. In Robben Islands, he actually happened to read a lot of books on iconic leaders who would actually give him a lot of information about how to lead as a good leader and how to have the right kinds of moral virtues. Now, when this gentleman invites all the jailers, everyone asks him, why did you do so? Now, he says, I wouldn't have been here if it was not for them. Because that helped him to be out of the prison of his mind. So it's important to understand any setback that we have in our lives, it's actually preparing you to be limitless. It's also important to understand, like Mr. Nelson Mandela, it's important to understand we have to be a force to reckon with, not only be a force to reckon with, but also to be radiating a lot of love around. Now, there's a lot of principles of life that I have actually lived with, and there are many things I have known, I have seen, I have read, I have heard that people have imbibed into their daily routine schedule so that they could able to unleash their amazingness, the power within themselves to bring out the best version in them. One such thing that I regularly follow is something called as the WTOH. Now, what is this WTOH? Now, a problem is a problem when it is viewed as a problem, right? If you see, the best business ideas, the best business innovations have come from the so-called failures. The greatest growth periods have happened after periods of pain, which means any setback is a gift in itself for you to progress, for you to advance, right? It's at this point in time when we have setbacks in our life that we really need to not see it as a setback, but to ask ourselves, what is the opportunity here? That's the WTOH question. What's the opportunity here for me? Do I believe in myself at such a time when the rest of the world just stopped believing in me? Do I have it in me still to have belief in my own self? Or am I still limiting myself with lots of thoughts which I don't really have any control over? Step up. It's important to understand that at this juncture, we need to step out of the history of all that has been limiting us so far. And we need to step in to the new story that we would like to create for ourselves, right? So, it's also important to understand at this point that we need to continuously work on ourselves by raising the bar. So, it's not that we are talking about being superior, it's not talking about being inferior, it's not about even asking for equality. We know we are special in our own rights, right? We just need to be working on ourselves to give a better version of ourselves to the world, right? So that's why it's called as the push. Keep pushing yourself. Keep pushing yourself. Every time there is an issue, there is a challenge. Typically, when any one of us gets an obstacle in life, we actually get into victim mode. And when we get into victim mode, we give away all the power to it and throw it up in the towel, right? It's so difficult at that point in time to come out. You know, you actually be a victim and you always most of us have that pleasure in pain, right? And we feel good when we are in pain. We just don't try to come out of it. It's important to understand we need to persist until something really happens, and that's push. Keep pushing, keep raising the bar, keep radiating love, keep doing the things that can really bring out the best in you. We all have the power in us to bring that best. It's important to understand, like Napoleon says, it's always nice to be inspired, but to be an inspiration is really incredible. We need to see that any kind of obstacle, any kind of setback is something that we can have more of us to be as an inspiration for the world to look up to us. And last but not the least, in these setbacks, we need to be doing something that people will remember us no matter our mortal remains remain or not. This is something that I have lived my life. Every setback that comes to me, I've always challenged it by asking, because every time a setback comes, it actually gives you the leverage to explore into the unexpected and pure possibilities. It helps you to transform those stumbling blocks into actual stepping stones. Another thing that I regularly keep doing, and I feel it's a very good ritual, it can help many of us. There are so many things that we do, but there are certain things that can keep doing consistently and we can actually benefit a lot from that. And that one particular thing that I feel is journaling. I spent around half an hour to 45 minutes on a Sunday typically just for myself, early morning. This is where I have the habit of jotting down every day certain parameters or behaviors or performances of mine on a daily basis. Now, when I keep doing this, I collect it for the entire week, sit down with myself with a lighted candle out there that's actually connecting with my inner, resonating with my inner self. I actually sit in front of the candle with my journal and I write down how the week went by, the review of the entire week, right? Now, this is actually the moment of very high awareness where you're actually going through and seeing that what has worked for you and what is that needs to be improved. Now, you have the last review of your last 7 days and you actually sit down with your goals and with your core values to align the new week for you. Now, that brings us the blueprints for a beautiful week later. Now, that gives you the me time, that gives you the family time, that gives you the passion time, that gives you the work time. And this has worked amazingly with people. The only reason for that is because journaling helps you to get better with yourself in a shorter span than what people would do at a normally larger or longer time. So after having what's the opportunity for me here and then going with the journaling, the third thing that I feel is very important is something called as I don't have everything, but I love everything that I have. And now that's called as the attitude of gratitude. It's very important to understand that it's not the happy people who are thankful. It's actually the thankful people who are always happy. So it's very important to understand this particular attitude of gratitude. No matter what, we actually go back and see. There's a beautiful hymn that comes, we sing. Count your blessings, name them one by one, and you will be surprised what the Lord has done. Now, this is just to say, it's so important part. The positive psychologists actually say that if you want to be inspirational, if you want to be unbeatable, if you want to be invincible, you need to actually be somebody with a lot of gratitude. And you need to practice that gratitude not just once, but every single day of yours. And it could be actually practicing gratitude with the value chain that you have. After the attitude of gratitude, it's very important to understand something called as passion. I call myself as a passionpreneur, not an entrepreneur, and the reason for me calling myself as a passionpreneur is because I can relate that what is my passion and that's what I'm going to be doing, and I'm going to be better at it, I'm going to be best at it, and that gives me the power to bring out the best version every now and then. Another breakthrough that I have had is also wearing my heart on my sleeve. When I say this, it's important to understand that all of us have our own vulnerabilities. We are weak in our own moments. It's absolutely fine to show your weak moments to everyone as well, because in your weak moments lies your strength. One breakthrough that I have had is with something called as self-talk. Now, all of us talk with each other and all of us talk to ourselves. It's important to understand what do you talk to yourself. It's not about others, it is about us. It's not that we're answerable to someone else, it's that we are answerable to the person in the mirror. It's very important to understand when you are doing a self-talk, what is the self-talk that you're doing? Most of us, we have the habit of being in the victim mode. And the victim mode typically says, what does it typically say? It says, I can't do this, I hate doing this, I'm not good enough, I think I'm in trouble, I think I'm getting screwed, I think I'm going to get killed. And that's something that you keep on saying that to yourself. And the best part is the everyday behaviors of ours is not from the conscious mind. Our conscious mind wants us to become better every single day. But the negative patterns in our subconscious mind actually keeps pulling you. And every time it keeps pulling you, it sabotages the entire process of you becoming great. So it's important to understand average performers actually go with auto-suggestions or they go with words like I can't do this, I'm not good enough. But if you look at best performers, they actually use words with power, grace and positivity. And that's important to understand. If you want to reprogram, rescript your subconscious programming, you need to rescript the words that you use for yourself. Do your words have power? Do your words have grace? Does it have positivity? It's something that you need to keep reflecting, introspecting, and working on you every single day of yours, because you need to speak like the person that you always wanted to become. You know, with consistent practice and with time, I'm sure you will find yourself to be in that person's shoes very soon. It's very essential that you auto-suggestion, install the new words, install a new story that you would like to create in this world for yourself. I would like to leave you all with just 2 words which should be a part of your internalized automatic vocabulary, and that is just start. Just start with a habit that will increase your productivity. Just start with the conversation to forgive the unforgiven. Just start reading the book that will awaken your thinking. Just start following your dreams that will change the entire world. I would like to leave you with these 2 words out there to be permanently in your vocabulary. Just start. Last but not the least, it's important to understand that the meaning of our life is to actually discover our gift. And the purpose of our life is to give it away. Right? So, be you. No one else can be you, and that's the power that you have. And finally, it's important to understand that you need to celebrate. You need to celebrate every single day, because if you celebrate life, life ensures that you are celebrated. Thank you so very much.